विष्णु अवतारी भूमि देवों की धामा पहली पहली चढ़ो तुके सूरज घामा.
Uttarakhand is a culturally diverse region in the central Himalaya. Popularly known as Devbhumi, abode of the gods, it is a land where the line between myth and reality, history and legend, religion and superstition is never easy to find. This is Rani Bagh at the foot of the Kumaon hills. Rani Bagh literally means the Queen's Garden. Situated on the Gola River, throughout the year, this also serves as a cremation ground. The Hindus of the area bring their departed and commit their bodies to the sacred fire by the banks of the river. But once a year, on the night of the Uttarayni festival, the remnants of an ancient clan descend to Rani Bagh to dance, celebrate, and worship their queen. It is also a night on which they claim to get possessed by entities from the spirit world. Rani Bagh is famous as the location of the Chitrashila, a large colourful rock which is now covered by the sand and stones of this river bank. The rock has long been an object of reverence and worship for the local people.
this शिला एक बहुत बड़ा पत्थर है, उसके ऊपर बिल्कुल निशान है, जैसे ये साड़ियों में टुपके टुपके ऐसे होते हैं, फूल जैसे बने हुए, ऐसे बने हुए निशान हैं। लेकिन वो आजकल नदी के प्रवाह से ढक चुका है, दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है। ऊपर से रेता वगैरह बजरी आ गया ना, भर गया।
पौत्र शिला जो है भूगर्भिक दृष्टि से बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि वो तरह तरह के रॉक्स से, तरह तरह के सिल्ट से बनी है और एक बहुत ही रंगीन किस्म का कॉन्ग्लोमरेट, जिसको जियोलॉजी में कहते हैं मिली जुली चट्टान, वो बनी है। अभी तो दबी है मेरे ख्याल में वो, लेकिन जब हम लोगों ने देखी थी तो बहुत खूबसूरत लगती थी वो।
The tradition of Chitrashila is very old, and as per tradition, it has a spiritual manifestation also. But as far as the geological interpretation of Chitrashila is concerned, there can be a Chitrashila anywhere. For example, the Chitrashila which is sited in Rani Bagh, it is on the bank of the river Gola, and it is in a very windy area. So the geological impact is seen in that Chitrashila. Chitrashila can be anywhere. I have seen it in many places. Anywhere where there is water and where the current is very strong during the rainy season and it is exposed to wind, there you can find Chitrashila.
The Uttarayni festival takes place in the middle of January, and melas or fairs are held at various places.
तो उत्तरायणी का एक बड़ा महत्व ये है कि उत्तरायणी के ही दौर में जो है सूरज उत्तरायण की ओर आता है और दिन बड़े होने लगते हैं। अंग्रेजी कैलेंडर में भी आपने सुना ही है कि दिसंबर में सबसे छोटा दिन होता है, फिर बड़ा दिन धीरे धीरे बढ़ते हुए चला जाता है। दूसरी जो महत्वपूर्ण बात इसके साथ जुड़ी हुई है उत्तरायणी के साथ, वह एक नए साल की शुरुआत है। पूरे देश में अलग अलग तरीके से नया साल मनाया जाता है, दक्षिण भारत से लेकर एकदम आसाम तक और हमारे यहाँ तक।
This is the Katarmal Sun Temple, high up in the Kumaon hills. It was built in the 9th century by the Katyuri dynasty. The Katyuris were a powerful line of kings that ruled Uttarakhand from the 6th to the 11th century. At its peak, their empire is said to have stretched from Sikkim in the east to Kabul in the west. Today, the Katyuri kings and queens of the past are worshipped as gods and goddesses. They are greatly revered, and temples dedicated to them can be found all over Uttarakhand. The Rani Bagh temple complex has shrines devoted to several Katyuri deities, as well as the traditional Hindu gods. The Uttarayni celebrations at Rani Bagh are unique because the people who come to offer worship claim to be the descendants of the Katyuri dynasty. The celebration at Rani Bagh is associated with JIYA, a queen of the Katyuri dynasty, who is now worshipped as a goddess. This temple is called JIYA's cave. The goddess is also referred to as Jazia or Jia Mata. In fact, the name Rani Bagh is derived from JIYA, and many believe that the patterns on the Chitrashila rock are the marks left behind by JIYA's clothing.
According to oral history, JIYA is a descendant of the Katyuri dynasty. And Katyuri dynasty were, as far as historical records are concerned, their culture was Arana Sanskriti or forest culture. And according to forest culture, the people were aware of this fact that animal life, plant life and human life, they are interconnected with each other. And if one of the strands of either animal life, plant life or human life are disturbed, the whole ecosystem will be disturbed. This was the basic essence of the culture of Uttarakhand and the culture of Kumaon.
As night falls on the 14th of January, the day of Uttarayni, a crowd steadily builds. At 8:30 in the evening, the first group starts to dance on the hillside above the river. They brandish swords and daggers as they move around the fire and chant the name of JIYA. The drummer recounts the legends of the Katyuris, and the entire group works itself into a frenzy.
In Kumaon, Garhwal, martial traditions have played a very important role. Similarly, JIYA is also a manifestation of the martial tradition. As far as the historicity of JIYA is concerned, we do not find any primary evidences that she was existing there. But at times, manifestation of martial tradition is symbolized by a legend.
But such is the decline in the oral traditions of Uttarakhand that even within the temple complex, no one could help us with the story of JIYA.
JIYA एक खूब सुंदर थी। JIYA ने बाग लगाया यहाँ पर।
JIYA इनकी वो जो पहले के वो थे उनके वो थे ना,
उसका पीछा अच्छा किया उन लोगों ने, महान महिला थी करके कुछ ऐसे ही
मुगलों ने।
हाँ, मुगलों ने का कहते हैं ज़माना। उस समय राज बहुत पुरानी बातें ठहरी है, कई सुनी बातें ठहरी ऐसा।
For a more detailed version of JIYA's story, we had to travel to Buribana, a village deep in the Kumaon hills.
अच्छा अच्छा, कितनी दूर है यहाँ से?
झुंगारे की घाना ठुकनी निकाना तुम बड़ा यमर गया दस को पीछना दुखबाया बारो मास मेरी माता बहनों ये मर गए गना हाल सने ननदिना फटकुशल बात मगन खजाला तेरा बसंती.
When the Katyuri Empire disintegrated in the 11th century, their descendants were scattered all across Uttarakhand. In many remote villages, they have maintained a separate identity. Buribana is one such village. Here, we met Pan Singh, a Katyuri elder, who gave us his account of JIYA.
ऐसी कहावत है, वहाँ जब रहे, वहाँ इनका रानी बाग जो ठहरा उनके नाम से प्रसिद्ध ठहरा। उनका सैलानी को जैसे यहाँ पर बना रहे हैं शेर लोग, ऐसे ही इन्होंने भी वहाँ अपना एक घूमने का फिरने का स्थान बनाया था। वहाँ जब JIYA गोले में स्नान करने गई अकेली, तो उसके सर से कोई बाल निकल गया। नीचे हल्द्वानी की तरफ कहीं पर मुगल लोग नदी में थे, तो बाल जो था उनके घोड़े के पाँव में फंस गया। बाल बहुत चमकीला था, तो उन्होंने ये देखा जब बाल इतना बड़ा है और इतना चमकीला है, ये औरत कैसी?
तैयार हो
इसको ढूंढते ये चले रानी बाग, जो एक पत्थर शिला है वहाँ पर, उसके ऊपर घाघरा बिछाया हुआ है। उसमें बिल्कुल टोटल अब इस साल तो आप कह रहे थे वहाँ नहीं है करके ढक गया है, लेकिन उसमें बिल्कुल चित्र हैं जैसे घाघरे के अलग अलग रंग के छोटे छोटे टुकड़े, शायद आपने कभी देखा हो। और तो और उसके पीछे पड़ गए। अब ये भगते भगते वहाँ पर से छिप के जैसे भी गई, जो गुफा है ऊपर बताते हैं कि उसके अंदर घुस गई, तो उसके अंदर घुस के उसका वही अंत हुआ, बाहर नहीं निकली। अब ये ऐसी कथा बताते हैं।
Even if there is any truth in the story, the part played by the Mughals is unlikely, as the chronologies of the Mughal and the Katyuri dynasties do not overlap. But the Rohillas, an Islamic community of Pashtun origin, were known in the area at the time. In another version of the story, JIYA's cave at Rani Bagh was at that time connected by an underground tunnel to the sacred town of Haridwar, 200 kilometers to the northwest. And this is where JIYA is supposed to have emerged after escaping the chasing horde and is said to have lived there to the end of her days.
जियोलॉजिकल तो संभव नहीं लगता है। गुफाएं बड़ी बड़ी तो हैं हमारे यहाँ, लेकिन यहाँ से हरिद्वार तक जाए ऐसा संभव नहीं लगता। तो ये कहानियाँ फिर असली में एक बड़ी दिक्कत इसमें होती है। ह्यूमन नेचर इस तरीके का होता है कि वो एक नॉर्मल हिस्ट्री से ऊपर जाना चाहता है। वो हर बार अनेक बार हिस्ट्री को मिथक में बदल देता है। तो उसमें वो बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें जोड़ता है जो हिस्टोरिकली और जो साइंटिफिकली, जो वैज्ञानिक रूप से संभव नहीं हो सकती है। लेकिन क्योंकि कहानी अगर वो नॉर्मल होगी तो फिर वो नॉर्मल ह्यूमन बींग्स की हो जाएगी। अब जिया रानी को क्योंकि एक असाधारण रानी आपने दिखाना है, तो अनेक बार उसका जो ह्यूमन एलिमेंट है उसको हम जरा सी एक मिनिमाइज़ करते हैं, और उसमें जो एक जिसको कहेंगे एक जो एक लार्जर द लाइफ जो है वो जोड़ते हैं। तो इस तरीके की गुफाओं को लेके भी ऐसा जुड़ता है, लड़ाई को लेके भी जुड़ता है, और वो जिया रानी के साथ भी जुड़ा लगता है।
In this part of the world, the true meaning of a tradition is not easily discernible. Just like the image of a god with many hands actually signifies his omnipotence, JIYA Rani may be a symbol of a deeper philosophy.
Already the concept of one Devi, Mother Earth, it was prevalent in Kumaon Garhwal. So JIYA Rani has been projected, or she has been manifested as one Devi or Mother Goddess who is controlling all the natural resources.
Even though these mountains are home to some of the holiest Hindu shrines, a parallel folk culture also exists. In the folk culture of this hilly region, ghosts and demigods are a very real presence in people's everyday lives. Spirits haunt every glen, meadow, river, and hilltop. Demons haunt the forests, and all manner of creatures roam the night. Demigods or deities are called devtas and need to be kept happy with rituals and worship. Devtas are evoked to gain the blessings of the gods, to achieve success in material life, to settle disputes, heal the sick, and drive away restless or malevolent spirits. This is done in a traditional ritual called a jagar. Jagars usually take place at night around a fire called a dhuni. A drummer or guru utters sacred incantations and beats his instrument to create a field that attracts the deity. The deity then descends into a person called the Dangariya, who goes into a trance and begins to dance around the fire. The guru is able to identify the deity by the way the Dangariya moves around the fire. In this state, the Dangariya becomes all-knowing and solves problems and settles disputes, even the most mundane. If the spirit of a dead person is unable or unwilling to leave this world, then it possesses someone from its erstwhile family at a jagar. The possessed person also starts to dance. The devta then becomes the medium for its release. Sometimes the spirit is coaxed into leaving, but the more stubborn ones are almost threatened by the devta until they relent. At the end of the jagar, the deity leaves the Dangariya and he becomes himself again. Bhavan Ram is a Dangariya on whom the deity has been descending at jagars from a very young age.
मैं फर्स्ट बटन नाचा था, मैं लगभग 9 साल का था। पिताजी वगैरह ठहरे, खुद ही मेरे को शर्म लगने वाली थी। जब होश आई तो फिर मेरे को शर्म लग जाने वाली ठहरी। इतने से आने के सामने यार ये क्या हो जाता है कि जितना ही मैं पीछे हटो उतना ही बाकी बाकी हो जाए। पहले जब कंपेयर कंपेमान होती है, ये पता नहीं चलता है कहाँ से आता है, कैसे आता है। हृदय से ही इसमें कंपेमान होती है। कंपेमान हुई, एक झटका बेहोशी का होता है उसमें, उसके बाद याददाश्त लौटती है। जैसे आदमी तो होश रहता ही है, जैसे आदमी दारू पी देता है, दारू पीने के बाद गाली गलौज या कुछ करता है, होश तो उसको रहता ही, यार मैं ऐसा कर रहा हूँ। यही चीज़ मैंने इसमें देखी कि जब होता है तो उसके बाद हल्की होश तो रहती है, ये पता नहीं चलता है अभी मैंने क्या कहा, किससे क्या कहा, यही बात रहती है उसमें भी।
Prakash, a young man from Buribana, vouches for the efficacy of the ritual.
वैज्ञानिक जो होता है, वैज्ञानिक के हिसाब से इन चीज़ों को नहीं माना जा रहा है। मतलब इसका वैज्ञानिक नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं कि ये चीज़ है या नहीं है। होने को होता है, ये चीज़ भी होता है। किसी की अल्पी मृत्यु हो जाती है, कहीं पर एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है, कहीं कितने केस हो जाते हैं ऐसे, कहीं किसी को मार के डाल देते हैं, उसकी आत्माओं का मतलब वो नहीं हो पाता है, सही संपर्क नहीं हो पाता है, या उसका सही इंसाफ नहीं हो पाता है, कैसे मरा या क्या किया ये नहीं हो पाता है। तो वहाँ कोर्ट केस के बाद अगर वहाँ नहीं हो पाया, उसके बाद ऐसे देवताओं के हिसाब से ये चीज़ चलती है। बहुत सा ऐसे केस भी हैं, मैं अगर तुमको बताऊं, बहुत सा ऐसे केस भी हैं जो डॉक्टरों के नाइलाज होने के बाद आज के दिन वो अच्छा खासा अपना परिवार चला रहे हैं, ऐसे भी लोग। फिर यहाँ पहाड़ का जो हुआ, यहाँ दैविक डॉक्टरों से अधिक विश्वास दैविक देवताओं में करते हैं। हाँ, अगर कोई ऐसी चीज़ भी होती है उसको भी दैविक रूप से मानते हैं। यहाँ तो यही चलता है।
Jagars are held at Rani Bagh on the night of Uttarayni in honor of JIYA. The man circling the fire is a Dangariya who has been possessed by the Devta. The Devta has induced a spirit into possessing this young girl. The spirit screams to be let go. But the Devta does not relent and insists that the spirit identify itself and promise that it will no longer trouble the family of this girl. The spirit eventually identifies itself as the girl's great-grandmother. It has been seeking revenge for being slighted in its embodied existence. However, it now promises to go quietly into the netherworld. With a final blessing from the Devta, the spirit leaves her body and the exhausted girl is taken away by her family. Many more people come to be blessed by the Devta, treating him with great reverence and respect. A living god. This treatment, though, only lasts the duration of the Jagar, and after it, the Dangariya takes his accustomed place in village society.
Uttarayani epitomizes the forest culture of Uttarakhand. All these festivals, they speak about the rich Aranya Sanskriti or the rich forest culture, and it also speaks of that basic philosophy that it was not urban civilization which was the highest manifestation or which was the highest level of the evolution of an individual. The highest level of evolution of an individual was supposed to be the forest culture. And within the forest, a man could evolve into that highest level of what is called super and supra consciousness.
Over the years, the attendance at the Uttarayni festival is steadily declining. Even in nearby towns, there is very little awareness of this annual gathering. In the past, it was associated with the Indo-Tibet trade and was important from the viewpoint of the local economy. Today, its significance is cultural. Folk ballads and oral histories are passed down from generation to generation and kept alive at occasions like this. Suresh is a young Dangaria who has come to Rani Bagh from Buribana. He was possessed by the deity for the first time only last year.
हमारे कुल में चला हुआ देवता है। अच्छा। मतलब कहीं पे अगर ऐसी परेशानी या कोई ऐसी वाली बात होगी तो हमारे परिवार में से किसी को भी पकड़ सकता है देवता। अच्छा। हमारा परिवार बहुत बड़ा है, कोई भी हमारे परिवार से उसे भी पकड़ सकता है क्योंकि वो कुल में चलने वाला देवता है। वो मतलब कहीं भी पीछे हटने वाला देवता नहीं है। मेरे चाचा, मेरे दादा और पापा सभी नाचते हैं।
At 3:30 a.m. on the 15th of January, the group from Buribana begin their dance. They start to circle slowly around the fire. They have brought Katuri swords and daggers from the village, and they brandish them while chanting the name of their queen. Yak hair is considered sacred and is an integral part of the rituals. Suresh gets possessed. The Devta descends into his body and he goes into a trance. A lady sitting nearby is possessed by one of the Devta's ethereal attendants. Suresh is now firmly in the grips of the deity, and in this state, he insists on venerating the oldest member of the community. It is interesting to watch one who is supposed to be the ethereal deity venerate a living person. In the traditional belief system, the material world is but a small part of an infinite reality. On occasions like this, a vortex is created, enabling different realms of existence to interact. It is a doorway opened by the vibrations of sound. The incessant beat of the drums and the incantations open a portal for the material and ethereal world to communicate. Just as suddenly as it started, the possession is over. The deity has left Suresh's body. The group then slowly proceeds to the riverside for a ritual bath in the freezing waters of the Gola. It is the middle of the North Indian winter, and at 4:30 am, the temperature is nearly 0 degrees centigrade. But this does not deter the group from honoring this tradition. Rivers have a special significance in Uttarakhand. Though for most Hindus, the Ganges is the holiest of waters, in Uttarakhand every stream is revered. All the important rituals in a person's life, from birth to death, take place by the riverside. A bath signifies purification, a cleaning of the body as well as the spirit. All impurities are washed away by the icy water. As they finish their bath, dawn is breaking in the sky. It is traditionally the time for all spirits, deities and demons to retreat. A time for myth and legend to rest. The group is exhausted. They will now slowly make their way to the buses, waiting to take them home to Buribana. Soon they will be back in their fields and in their orchards, only to return next year. The day after Uttarayni, the Queen's garden falls silent. JIYA Rani, whose name resounded through the night, once again retires to her cave temple. Her identity remains a mystery. Was she a queen or is she a legend? A metaphor for the mother goddess, a symbol of a forgotten ideal where humanity is just a strand in the vast web of life? Or is she a personification of life itself? Is her real temple in the swiftly flowing waters of the Gola and in the smoke that rises from the funeral pyres and in the clouds that drift over the high blue mountains? Is this celebration a tribute to a queen, or is it a celebration of all the phenomena around us? A celebration of life in the name of JIYA.